ladies and gentlemen on YouTube, before I start this Impact Wrestling review, pertains to Knockdown 2021. This was dedicated to the men and women of professional wrestling, but more importantly, this was also in dedication, tribute, honor, homage to the late great Daphne. Thank you. Well, what's going on, YouTubers, for ladies and gentlemen? It's the natural scary thriller. And welcome everyone to Impact Wrestling Review, or just giving you Impact Knockdown 2021, the show from that was recorded back in September 17th, 2021, and it aired on the Saturday of October 9th, 2021 at Nashville, Tennessee in the Skyway Studios. And this was an all-woman pay-per-view for the Knockouts, and pertains to a few other women that came from other promotions to be part of this event itself. It doesn't matter if it's on commentary, in the ring refereeing, in the ring announcing, and it's just even those that are not in wrestling, wrestling in the ring anymore, but are retired and want to be part of this event itself. And pertains to executive producer Gail Kim being involved with this. And also pertains to commentary. I think I may have mentioned commentary about women's beyond commentary as well. Not saying that all was about women. You had someone there as well. Which, by the way, you had the opening show of this, which is why I did the intro of this video, pertains to in memory of Daphne, and to the men and women of pro wrestling. And we'll get to more of that too later on, where it pertains to why that was the case of this opening of this show. But the show opened up where it pertains to Gail Kim in the ring with the women's in the ring, and you had a couple of of the Impact wrestling roster outside the ring as well. The men. Gail Kim cut a promo basically saying this is for the men and women of pro wrestling, and for the late Daphne, as they ring the bell 10 times for the 10 bell salute for Daphne, who unfortunately passed away a month ago. Still painful to pertains to her passing, and some people haven't got over it, unfortunately. But this was all for her, as they rang the bell 10 times, and then after that was over, they chanted "Thank you, Daphne," and the show began. The show opened up with a video promo of the Knockdown, pertains to highlighting the past, present, and future of Knockouts that helped this division of the Knockouts to mean something for those like Gail Kim, Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, Awesome Kong, Christy Hemme, Mickey James. You also had a Taya Valkyrie at one point. Just to name a few. We also had Tara, aka Victoria, Madison Rain, Tennille Dashwood, Kimberly, Sue Young, Kira Hogan, Lauren Vaness, who's now Chelsea Green, and you got Deanna Purrazzo there, who's also pertains to the knockouts. Tasha Steele's. You even got a handful of other women's there as well. Pertains to them being knockouts. Oh, an ODB by the way. I want to mention her too because she's an OG as well. Jacqueline. I thought it was a good video promo opening up the show, and basically after the whole 10-belt salute to Daphne. Your commentators were Mickie James and Veda Scott. Your ring announcer was Melissa Santos, and your interviewer was Gina Miller. And there you go. As far as referees, I don't know who those referees were, but I thought they did a good job. But other than that, there's a lot to talk about this show. It pertains to what happened. Pertains to the tournament, which I'll get to that. Pertains to Mickie James picking Deonna Purrazzo's poison, which we'll get to that as well. Pertains to the main event, which we'll get to that. And pertains to the Monsters Ball match, which that was dedicated to Daphne, who was the first knockout, along with Taylor Wilde. We'll get to more of that. Pertains to the first ever Monsters Ball knockouts match, and that legacy continues on. Represents to other knockouts that have been in that type of match years ago, and years later we're still doing it. But I'll talk a little more about Daphne later. And pertains to a segment that happened as well. Pertains to something about Impact Wrestling that should have been announced a long time ago. Ahead of time. Pertains to months ago. We'll get to that, and we'll get to what happened when the show ended. Where certain debuts coming pretty soon. Pertains to the knockouts side of it, and also pertains to I think I said before, we'll talk a little more about Daphne as well, but we're also going to talk about something else that pertains to why Gail Kim mentioned the men and women of pro wrestling, and we'll get to that when we get to as well. So, the opening match was the Knockdown tournament, where the winner of the tournament, which is it features 8 women's, but in this case, because it's about they're not women's, they're knockouts, but pertains to the knockouts in this tournament. There are 8 knockouts in this match, where the winner of this tournament will not only win the cup of the Knockouts Knockdown Cup, but will get an opportunity in the future for an Impact Knockouts Championship title match against either if it's going to be Deonna Purrazzo or Mickie James after Bound for Glory. Now I don't know if it's going to happen on Impact Wrestling, when after Bound for Glory comes to an end, or pertains to the fallout of Bound for Glory on Impact Wrestling. We shall see. It depends how they gonna build that up, or it tends to lean up to it. So, other than that, but speaking of the tournament, after seeing this tournament, which I'll get to when I get to it, now pertains to one match on this tournament that didn't last up to 3 minutes, which it's fine. I was expecting it that way, especially who was in the match, but we'll get to that. But same time, we're changed to this knockout who's has a new gimmick, for the past few weeks now. We'll get to that as well. But we're pertains to this tournament. This tournament was exactly what a tournament should be. Pertains to how the Knockdown showed what a tournament should look like, and what a tournament should be represented, or how it should be taken seriously. It should be taken should have some prestige into it. And to showcase why a tournament like this should be be respected. And this was aired back in, again, let me remind you all, folks, this was aired back in September. I mean, it wasn't aired. This was recorded back in September 17th, which was a month ago. And then we get to a month later, where they aired it here, and where it pertains to this tournament, Ellery puts the WWE's Queen's Crown, their version of the Queen, of the King of the Ring, which, Queen of the Ring, the Queen's Crown, whatever you want to say, it put that to shame based on this tournament. And you see obviously other tournaments too that could be happening with the women's, besides the knockouts in Impact Wrestling. especially where we had the AEW is going to do their own tournament, where it takes to the TBS Championship tournament for the women's, where that's going to also be taken seriously too as well. So all we can say if it pertains to the whole thing with Jade Cargill versus Sky Blue, at least that wasn't a tournament match. That was basically just an exhibition, to what's to come for the for the actual tournament that's going to be announced whenever that's going to be announced. But and the reason I mentioned the East tournament pertains to the Queen's Crown, because fans has been asking for this tournament for the women's in WWE. I wasn't one of them, but I wasn't against it, especially where it pertains to the Queen's Crown. It should be booked, should be taken seriously, should be having some prestige, and should be having a little meaning of something, like with the Mae Young Classic tournament that Triple H and Stephanie and whoever have you behind that tournament as well, like Alita or Renee Young. What's her last name again? Batik. I'm not sorry to say last name, but I digress. Basically the wife of John Moxley. So we're saying that because I didn't watch the tournament of the Queen's Crown. I saw the results. I heard the results. Pertains to podcasting and just looking it up on all that, and to see how Liv Morgan lost to Carmella in about a minute and a half. And then you see a Toni Storm. Let me remind you about Toni Storm. She's been in tournaments, not just over to Mae Young Classic, and she's done great jobs during that tournament. Pertains to having more than a 2-minute match with Selena Vega on the Queen's Crown, but also pertains to showing she could go the distance. No matter how long on the tournament that she lasted in. Pertains to the first Mae Young Classic she's been in, and then the second Mae Young Classic that she was in, and then returns to her being in the NXT UK tournament. That she also lasted more than 2 minutes in the match too. Rotates to go up against in the finals of Rhea Ripley. She could go the distance. She could head to the tournament finals because she is that damn good. She is one of these best women's wrestlers that WWE has gotten. But ever since moving her to the main roster, they haven't been doing anything with her. And then when they have her do something, is to her have a 2-minute match plus change, whatever miss seconds of it, or I should say, and then having her lose to, of all people, who has not been winning matches since coming back to WWE, and Selena Vega. It's not Selena Vega's fault. I'm not blaming Selena Vega. No, this it's not her credibility was has been devalued on her behalf. It's because of the WWE, how they're using her because of selfish reasons from outside of the situation that she and her husband pertains to everything that's happened not just from last year, but also what pertains to for this year as well. And to hear about the tournament of WWE pertains to even with the brackets too, by the way. Which, by the way, let me bring up the brackets here of this tournament. So Selena Vega versus Toni Storm, which we already knew about that. 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and Toni Storm loses. I'm not against the Toni Storm losing, but at least making an effort, making a match where it means something, where it could they could went the distance and they could take each other to the limit instead of just giving a 2-minute match, and then the match ends like that, where Selena Vega gained the win. And then you had Liv Morgan versus Carmella, where they had a match before where it was longer than 1 minute and 40 seconds, and they had Liv Morgan losing to Carmella. And Carmella is another story of her being garbage in the ring, unless she's being carried by someone who's actually better than her in wrestling. And on top of that, she's not really over. She's only over when you stick her with someone like an R-Truth or Reginald. Pertains to even when it pertains to Big Cass and Enzo Amore, even when it pertains to like a James Ellsworth. Also that Carmella, who's been in WWE for that long, she hasn't gotten over with the crowds. The only time she got over with the crowds is because of the Money in the Bank cash in. Other than that, she had not gotten over afterwards, because no one cared about her being the champion. No one cared about her of a push. No one cared about her of her being even the 24/7 champion. And the whole thing about Carmella is that, with her being there for that long, and she still can't get over, and she still can't get a reaction. It's a big problem of this company right now, that they're pushing someone like a Carmella over Liv Morgan, who is popular, who is getting fans positive reaction, and fans behind are behind for good reason. I think Liv Morgan has improved in the ring, unlike Carmella has never been improved in the ring. Not her fault. She was just brought too early in the main roster, where she should have been more developed during the time where she was in NXT. And now with Carmella going over on Liv Morgan here, it will not surprise me that Liv Morgan is counting the days before she's doesn't re-sign with this company and go elsewhere, to be treated elsewhere where she actually could mean something in the women's wrestling business. And then you got Selena Vega, where she's gonna stick around for I don't know how long she will stick around. Pertains to her contract situation. She's only there just to because WWE in a pay way signed her and then fire her husband, and now she's stuck there until her contract runs up, and then she's gonna be gone pretty soon either way. Right now she's gonna be milking everything that she can, and meanwhile you got Toni Storm there, where WWE is doing everything wrong with her, because I don't know what's the purpose of why they're doing this with Toni Storm. Why they're not doing anything with her, and then when they do something with her, this is what they gave her. Especially with where her about months ago, I meant to say, either it was months ago or weeks ago, whatever, they finally did something with Toni Storm, after being away for since making her debut on SmackDown, just for her and Dolph Ziggler to have a segment where Dolph Ziggler is hitting on Toni Storm. And they got Doudrop, which that's a dumb name to have in pro wrestling. And why don't you just go have her big back to as being Piper Niven? That's what she is right now in WWE. She's Piper Niven, not Doudrop. That's a stupid name to have, so get rid of it. She's not with Eva Marie anymore, and that whole thing is over now. So get rid of it. But you got Piper Niven versus Natalya, and then you have Shannon Bazer versus Dana Brooke. When was the last time Dana Brooke has done anything? Not against her. But here's the thing: no one cares about Dana Brooke, and I hate to say that about Dana Brooke, but that's the honest truth. No one cares about Dana Brooke, and no one hasn't cared about Natalya because the way they've been booking her. Not Natalya's fault. It's WWE's way of how they book Natalya. And then you have Shannon Bazer here, where they finally decided on book her like a killer, where they should have been done that a long fucking time ago. So this whole Queen's Crown tournament has already become a fail because of the short time of these last two matches that they had. That was on SmackDown, 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and a loser. No offense to Selena Vega, but a loser in Selena Vega goes over on Toni Storm. And then you got Carmella, 1 minute and 40 seconds beats Liv Morgan, and she advanced. And now we're expecting to see Selena Vega and Carmella to face each other. And God knows how long that's gonna last. So yes, at this point, where it comes to the Queen's Crown tournament, the fans were begging for it and all that, and then now the WWE's getting a lot of backlash for this because how it's been booked and how they're using the women's wrest. And not just with the fans, but also of what I'm hearing from most wrestlers behind the scenes are very upset at this. So already WWE has already failed with the women's roster, which they've been failing with women's rosters for many years, but where it comes to failing the women's on the booking of this past year, they're failing. They're already failed, I should say, with this Queen's Crown tournament, and it's already a big fail anyways because the tournament's going to end at we're taking the finals being at Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel. Why? Because the Prince wants the Queen's Crown and the King of the Ring tournament too, to for the finals to be at Crown Jewel, to end on that night, because he wants that to happen, and on top of that, because of Crown Jewel name, which is the crown, because King of the Ring crown, the Queen's crown. retains to the winners of that tournament to get the crown at Crown Jewel, which is going to probably be in their probably color design of the logo. So yeah, WWE keep dropping the ball, and they wonder why fans has drove away of watching Raw and watching SmackDown and watching their product overall. They wonder why the fans that they gain over the years of over 5 million to 7 million to 8 million to 9 million to 10 million, whatever have you. They wonder why. They wonder fucking why they all left. And they will never come back. Get the fuck out of here with that now. Basically I have to hit the X on the tablet there. Now let's get to the actual review. Now I'm gonna do this review where this tournament of the Knockdown tournament basically to show the WWE of the Queen's Crown tournament how it's done. Rachel Ellery versus Lady Frost of the quarterfinals, lasted 11 minutes and 54 seconds, and they had a good match, back and forth between the two, minus the one spot that didn't get a full of the blockbuster that Lady Frost did onto Rachel Ellery, but it's whatever, it is what it is, But they had back and forth. Lady Frost is pretty good. Even obviously with Raquel. I'm thinking about NXT not now. Rachel Ellery. Rachel Ellery is also pretty good on her own, right as well. And in the end, it was Rachel Ellery getting the win over on Lady Frost. And now she advances to the semifinals, and we'll get to that. But before that, the match even happened, they would show a video package, promoting, profiling both Rachel Ellery and Lady Frost. Basically, Rachel Ellery introducing herself, Lady Frost introducing herself, and they talk about the opponents that they're gonna face, and then it pertains to why they want to win this tournament to advance and to be a future number contender for the Knockouts title. Same thing how the Marion Classic did before too, where it pertains to that whole thing. What a concept, right? But they only did for the quarterfinals part of it. Other than that, they may have done some also. May have also they did actually. They also did a promo interview, I should say, with Gina Miller, where it tends to now pertains to to all of them, where it tends to the semifinals, but we'll get to that. But Rachel Ellery went over though. Then we get to Chelsea Green versus Renee Michelle. In this quarterfinals of 8 minutes and 28 seconds, and I apologize for the little dog barking right now. And this match was good too. Obviously, like I said, retains to happen over Rachel Ellery and Lady Frost. Video package of highlighting the profiles and all that. So this was no different. Chelsea Green versus Renee Michelle. Renee Michelle has improved a lot, folks. Like and this match really showed too. And it was pretty good. Did it live up to the first match? No, but it was still good. When it comes to what they did here. Renee Michelle, man, I want to see more of her. Retains to, doesn't matter if she gets opportunity wrestling on Dynamite or Rampage, or retains to AEW, or even retains to wrestling a little more, retains to Impact Wrestling. But she wrestles everywhere. It's not just in one place and all that, but let's see more of her back in the ring again, because I'm really loving Renee Michelle of her in-ring work. And on top of that, she's gorgeously hot. In the end, Chelsea Green got the win onto Renee Michelle. And the finisher, I thought it was gonna be, it was kind of botched, but it wasn't. It was actually delivered pretty well by Chelsea Green's, prettier, it was with great ease, and nice elevation. So there you go. And now she advances to the finals. The semifinals, excuse me, which we'll get to who she gets to face next. But then we get to Machetes Martinez, who was fired by the WWE when she was on NXT, and here she is. Now, is she signed to Impact Wrestling? I don't know. I mean, it's up to her. But when it comes to Machetes Martinez being in the tournament and being part of the Knockouts Knockdown, it's an honor and a privilege to see her there. She's a legend. She's an OG. And WWE let her go. They're lost. But it's been their loss since they had her be part of Retribution at one point. And she's like, I don't want to do this. She wants to come back to NXT. What does that tell you? But she went up against Brandy Lauren, who is, basically, the undead bridesmaid. And Machetes Martinez talks about, about herself and everything. Basically, we're tends to profile, the package of profiling each other. Meanwhile, you have glitz and basically special effects where it tends to Brandy Lauren just popping out of nowhere and everything. Basically like some type of jump scare or whatever, which it didn't work at all. She didn't really say anything because she's on the bridesmaid, and I mean not saying she can't talk, because she can talk, because they had her talk before, on the segments before, but she didn't do any talking. It was Machetes Martinez doing, basically talking about herself, and then talk about her opponent, and then talk about she's going to advance. So this match didn't last long, by the way, folks. I guarantee you, if Brandy Lauren was not the undead bridesmaid, this match would probably lasted about maybe up to 6 to 7 minutes, maybe. Where it tends to what Brandy Lauren can do in the ring. Instead, it was just about her being the undead bridesmaid, and Machetes Martinez put away already in 2 minutes and 9 seconds with the OG drop. And Brandy Lauren has some offense, but for the little time that she had. But at the end of the day, Machetes Martinez, this is just a warm up for her until we get to what was actually a challenge for her. So we'll get to that later. But Machetes Martinez went over. Then we get to Tasha Steele versus Jamie Sinigo. They did a few packages highlighting both of the the profiles. Obviously we already know who Tasha Steele is all about, pertains to her being in Impact Wrestling, and then pertains to her opponent, which Jamie Sinigo. I'm sorry to say this, but I think Jamie Sinigo. I think Jamie Sinigo is not a woman. I think she is now, but I think she was a man, because I think she may have I think she may be a tranny. Nothing against trannies, but based on how I see Jamie Sinigo, it was very telling. But she is she was dedicating this to Daphne, and on top of that, she I'm just gonna say she, because especially his choice to be a tranny, and he wants to be a she. He wants to be a she. So, but she talks about Daphne and everything. What she wants to win this tournament and all that. She's dedicating for this for Daphne, and she had a ring attire. Pertains to that says in the back, "I scream for Daphne," which that was one of Daphne's thing. I scream for Daphne. So we get to the match between Tasha Steele and Jamie Sinigo. It was decent. What pertains to it, 11 minutes and 4 seconds, and in the end, it was Tasha Steele getting the win and advancing. So basically, I have my predictions correct here, folks. What pertains to that, by the way. I was right about Chelsea Green going over. I was right about Machetes Martinez going over, obviously. I was right about Raquel. I keep saying Raquel. Rachel Ellery advancing, and I was right about Tasha Steele going over as well. So now we get the semifinals of Tasha Steele versus Chelsea Green, Rachel Ellery versus Machetes Martinez, and we'll get to that momentarily. So that was basically it for that for the quarterfinals of the Knockouts Knockdown tournament. Up next, we get to me see. I'm trying to remember if there was like a segment that happened on this before we got to the match, which was a pick your poison. Oh, this was like a real package. I'm assuming, but I digress. But either way, you had Mickie James and Veda Scott were talking about Deonna Purrazzo, and we're for a match that's just up next, which it was Mickie James match that it was Mickie James to pick her poison, to pick Deonna Purrazzo's poison, I meant to say, for this match that Deonna Purrazzo is going to be in. And now, and pertains to the name I mentioned before on the preview, pertains to Masha Samovich. I was right. I did see him before. Back in pertains to NWA's Empower, that which was a part of. And now I don't know if Masha Samovich is a part of NWA, because she's wrestled elsewhere. She's wrestled in Japan. And her style, basically, I don't remember if I mentioned before when I did the Empower review for NWA, for National Wrestling Alliance. Masha Samovich, pertains to her hair, the way she had her stick up, but it wasn't all the way up, like how Bull Nakano, I meant to say. That's her name right? Did I say her name right? Bull Nakano. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Bull Nakano. A legendary Japanese female wrestler as well. Remember seeing her wrestle against Alundra Blaze back in the days of the WWF when they had a women's roster and women's division at that time too. During the 90s. During the whole new generation era, or retains to that honor, especially to when that Raw. But I digress. Masha Samovic. It was the poison for Deonna Purrazzo in this match. Deonna Purrazzo was being covered by Matthew Railroad, and the match happens between Deonna Purrazzo versus Masha Samovic, and they both took each other to the limit in this match. It was a very good match, a damn good match. That lasted 12 minutes and 1 second. With obviously my predictions was for Deonna Purrazzo to win, and I was right. She ends up going over because champs should win matches even when the title's not on the line. That's how you book your champions strong, WWE. Just saying. But yeah, it was it was a very good match, and Mickie James was basically being unbiased. When it turns to room for Masha Samovich to go over on Deonna Purrazzo. So now that's out of the way, Deonna Purrazzo got the win over on Masha Samovich. Now it's Deonna Purrazzo's turn to pick her poison. To pick Mickie James' poison, I should say. Where it turns to Mickie James having her match before we get to Bound for Glory. Because Bound for Glory, it's gonna be Deonna Purrazzo defending her Knockouts Championship title against Mickie James. There you go. Now I'm trying to remember if it happened before or after. Let me see. Okay, I think we have Chelsea Green being an interview. No, actually, it wasn't Chelsea Green being an interview. Okay, no, there was no segment that happened on there. It was someone else being interviewed. I can't remember if it was. Okay, never mind. Yeah, that there was no segment that happened yet. So, but yeah, let's get to the next round tournament, which it was Machetes Martinez versus Rachel Ellery. We're to the knockdown semifinals. 12 minutes and 30 seconds lasted, which with Machetes Martinez and Raquel Gonzalez. The best match on the show. These two took it to each other in this match, and it was great. It was the best match on the show here, with Machetes Martinez going over onto Raquel. I mean, here I go again. Can't say Raquel. Rachel Ellery. Sorry about that, folks. Oh yeah, I was basically right about Machetes Martinez going over 2 here, which is my preview that was giving out. So I was right about her winning, advancing, and then she did. After the match, they showed respect to each other, sportsmanship, and that was it. So yeah, pretty good. Then we get to Chelsea Green being interviewed by Gina Miller before she heads out to the ring against Tessa Steele, which is the knockdown semifinals. So we get Tessa Steele versus Chelsea Green. 12 minutes and 23 seconds it lasted, and this match was pretty good too. Now it didn't live up to the match between Machetes Martinez versus Rachel Ellery, but it was still almost up there to that level where it was pretty good. And Tessa Steele's one point was getting away from Chelsea Green, and Cross booing her, and Chelsea Green had enough and went after her in the way. And basically, it was basically Tessa Steele's part. It was part of her plan. But it ends up being a pretty good match. Chelsea Green hit her finisher move, the unprettier, onto Tessa Steele, and seems to win it. She lost, and all of a sudden she kicks out. Like, whoa! And then Tessa Steele went for her finishing move, which is the spike. How you call it? The spike crucifix, I think it was. I don't remember what it was called, but she did it onto Jimmy Sunigo, and later on, and earlier on that night too. Yeah, crucifix pin. That's what I meant to say. The spike crucifix pin, but Chelsea Green kicks out of that too. And like, holy shit! So they basically kick out all each other's finishers here, and then we get to a part where Chelsea Green was going to do the unprettier avalanche off the top rope, but Chelsea Green fell down because Tessa Steele slammed her down, and she went for her frog splash, which is her other finishing move, and she gets the win. So she advances, as I predicted. She was going to advance, and she did, because the story here, after what they did on the home show of Impact Wrestling between Tessa Steele and Machetes Martinez having words of each other in the ring, so this was fitting, awesome, and we'll get to the finals later, but So Machetes Martinez was watching the match backstage after the match was over. They basically short there, and then Gina Miller interviews Machetes Martinez. Machetes Martinez let Tessa Steele know, she's gonna show what we call badass is all about and everything. And she was gonna break a promo Martinez to meet up with with Tessa Steele in the main event. I mean, not the main event. I mean, should have been the main event probably, but we'll get to what was the main event, which I did not agree with her, but that being the main event. But at the same time, it was for the title, and also it was a good reason why that was main event too. But we'll get to more of that later. But yeah, Machetes Martinez, she did a pretty good promo there. With Tessa holding. Oh yeah, okay, now I remember now. I think I remember Gail Kim coming out after the quarterfinals tournament that ended. Yes, I do remember. Gail Kim came out, and she cuts a promo. No, actually, not think about it. No, she wasn't. She didn't come out. She actually was backstage being interviewed by Gina Miller, where it takes to the tournament, where Gina Miller is basically putting her on blast, who she wants to win this tournament, and she says, "Oh, whoever wins this tournament is the way she just delivered it. She's like, I'm not gonna there's a lot of favorites that she could think name right now, but whoever wins the tournament is is gonna be the absolute best, whatever, and basically just putting over whoever is gonna win the tournament. It's gonna be the absolute best challenger for the Knockouts title, whatever. So yeah, so that's one that I should mention that happened after we got to the match between John Brasso and Master Summerfish. So then we get to after the the end of the knockdown semifinals. Now we get to, before we get to Monsters Ball, which it was dedicated to Daphne. Christy Hemme comes out, and she is excited to be there, and she was basically putting over the knockouts and talks about, I think she talked a little bit, I don't remember if she did talk about Daphne, but basically talks about what the knockouts is all about and everything, and and giving a shout out to the crowds there, and then she made an announcement pertains to the next inductee to the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame. And I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, they're doing this now? Like, why couldn't they do this, announce this back in Summerversary? Because that's where they they always usually do these things, where it's announcing who's going to be the next inductee to the Impact Hall of Fame. And I thought it was weird that after Summerversary is over from that from months ago, that we never I didn't mention that at the time, but I think it was kind of weird that they didn't mention anything about who's going to be the next inductee to the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame. And finally, we get there when we get to this event. I guess they want to make sense in this event to make that announcement, because we have one of the knockouts, the past knockouts, to be the next inductee to the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame. And they show, and basically Christian Hemme goes to the video package to show everyone who's gonna be the next inductee, and it was Awesome Kong, who recently announced her retirement back in NWA Empower. And I'm like, wow! And they show a great video package of Awesome Kong, where it takes her being dominant, being Knockouts champion, and with her feud, greatest rivalry in Impact Wrestling history that put the Knockouts on the map during that time in TNA Wrestling. Gail Kim, who's also a Hall of Famer in her own right. So after that was announced, and after that was done, showing the video package, Awesome Kong comes out. Like, it just keeps getting better. Awesome Kong comes out, and she's walking slow, because she's up, she's getting older, and she's been through a lot. Pertains to what she put by through. Pertains to her wrestling. And she gets in the ring. She's already out of breath, and she said it too. She's out of breath, and she's like, she's like, thank you to everyone that were there, and and then they got the crowd saying thank you, Kong. She was getting emotional, and then she got really emotional when she talked about Daphne, and we saw Christian Hemme was getting a little emotional as well, and before that, by the way, she teased, also Kong was teasing she's gonna take care of someone, beat someone up, and then Christian Hemme was like, "Oh, I'll leave." Okay, never mind. Yeah, basically, it was all a gag and all that, which was a humor moment there. And then talk about Daphne, and they start getting I saw Christian Hemme getting a little emotional in the corner, and also Kong didn't get too emotional, but she but we all know what Daphne meant to the company, minus to those management back in the days of TNA, where they fucked her over. At least the management for now today are trying to make up for everything that has happened. But you can never take away, you can never take back those things right now, especially with definitely not being here anymore. But yeah, that's basically it. But yeah, Awesome Kong said, thank you for Impact Wrestling for this honor to be in the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame. It's an honor and a privilege and all that. And basically she said up next is the Monsters Ball, which is going to be dedicated to Daphne. And that was when the segment ends there. And before we get to this to the Monsters Ball, that's going to be in memory to Daphne, we see Taylor Wow, basically a video promo of her being interviewed about how she, Taylor Wow, and Daphne were the first knockouts to be in this Monsters Ball match years ago, and they broke barriers because of that. They put that they opened doors for all knockouts to be in this, to have their own knockouts Monsters Ball match too, which has happened before, and it continues on right now. And she gets emotional because of that whole thing. And they talk about how, if you remember, when Daphne did that Instagram live video where she's, she was gonna, she wants her brains, her brain to be sent to Boston to the to be tested, science, because of resistance to CTE, concussions that she'd been through during that time when she was not being taken care of by TNA management at the time, like a Dixie Carter, a Vince Russo, Terry Taylor. And that going to happen if she's not living, which is why unfortunately she did what she did. So after when she died, they did send her brain to Boston to be tested by scientists. And then after Taylor Wilde talks about that, she got emotional on there. And then we get to the match. So we get to Daphne Memorial Nonsense Ball match. 10 minutes and 4 seconds it lasted. Savannah Evans versus Alicia Edwards versus Jordan Grace versus Kimberly. Match happens where you have trash cans, candlesticks, especially pertaining to Alicia Edwards using Kenny, even Kendra, but Kendra had barbed wire wrapped around her. The candlestick is basically you had a barbed wire steel chair, regular steel chair. I don't remember if there was a table involved. But I remember there was thumbtacks involved, which wow, thumbtacks, even thumbtacks were used in the match. I think a pool cube was used too. I think. Yeah, actually it was. But yeah, they went all out with this match. These knockouts in this match, and I think they really did this match justice for to honor, to tribute, to pay homage to the late great Daphne. In the end, as far as my predictions, I was right about Savannah winning. Savannah Evans got the win. Now I thought she was going, Kimberly's going to get the pin. Instead, it was Alicia Edwards. Hey, either way, I want Alicia Edwards to get pinned either way. But hey, at least Alicia Edwards got her revenge though on Kimberly. She sent her to the turnbuckle where she had the chair between the top and bottom turnbuckle. For stay there for Kimberly could be slamming into it. To chair barbed wire, and then the candlestick used that she to open up the wound even more. Kendra, the candlestick, to open up the wound even more because the candlestick was wrapped around barbed wire. And like I said, don't text with Muse. For basically Jordan Grace to muscle buster on her onto there. But yeah, Ace got her revenge in a way, but didn't win the match though because Savannah Evans got the win, and there you go. So yes, that was for Daphne. Now we get to the knockouts finals between Martinez versus Tessa Steele. Tessa Steele would be an interview. Pertains to Martinez, about what the comments that she made from earlier, and she I thought she delivered a promo way better than Martinez did. That she's good. She's a true Boricua badass and everything, and she's know a lot about winning tournaments and everything, and she's gonna win this tournament. Because she's a former two-time Knockouts champion, tag team champion, I should say. And then when we're to win this tournament, she wants to be the next Knockouts champion. And there you go. And then she says, and that's on. Okay. Oh, I'm trying to remember how she did it. Okay, something like that. But yeah, I'll tell you, Tessa Steele, she is good on the mic, in the ring. Pertains to her personality, her charisma, being charismatic. So. Yeah, we get this match now. Martinez versus Tessa Steele. Two Boricuas. Latina chicks. Puerto Ricans going at it in this match. Where the winner of this match gets to face the Knockouts, the Knockouts champion, I should say, in the future. Whoever that may be between Darren Purrazzo, either retaining or Mickey James, when she becomes the new Knockouts champion. We shall see when we get to Bound for Glory. So they had a match. And they had a good match. And my predictions, I thought Tasha Steele was going to get the win here. And as I said that, Mercedes Martinez got the win. After going for the OG drop onto Tasha Steele and got the win. And I'm like, hey, all I can say is right there is that Mercedes Martinez just showed WWE you should never let her go. And now you unleash, this Boricua badass and Machetes Martinez, an OG, a legend, a veteran in the wrestling business, to succeed in other wrestling promotions that you fucking dropped the ball on. So yes, I was happy for Machetes Martinez winning. Tasha Steele, her time is coming pretty soon. Her time will come. But for now, let's give this to Machetes Martinez to get this opportunity. Now, is she gonna win the title in later on? I think she will. It depends if Deonna Purrazzo retains, which I think she will. Which I'll get more. We'll talk more about that when we get close to Battle for Glory for my predictions. But yeah, Machetes Martinez won it. She won the trophy. Was being presented by Gail Kim to her, and I thought that was great. Okay. Before we get to the main event, which you all know what's going to be the main event, I'll let you know half about the main event. Now, I mentioned about Gail Kim when she opened up the show about honoring the men and women in pro wrestling, right? And we get to this next segment, which probably it was led by Veda Scott and Mickie James on commentary. Not only did they mention Daphne, but they also mentioned something pertains to this new campaign that the pro wrestling is right now wants to send out there, to send a message to those pertains to pro wrestling. Maybe not just in pro wrestling, but just help out others as well. That's not in the wrestling business, but at the same time, it was basically about pro wrestling here. And here's what it was. First, let me show you a picture. So that picture you saw is a campaign that the pro wrestling world is doing right now, pertains to mental health issues. Doesn't matter if you're going to do depression, having thoughts of suicide, any other type of health issues that you're going through, that's regain you mentally, and pertains to the list of people that were featured on there, which I'm bringing the name up right now. You have those like those like Chris Jericho, Awesome Kong, Rebel, Mick Foley, Gail Kim, Nick Aldis, Chavo Guerrero Jr., Lita, Mark Henry, Trish Stratus, Mojo Rawley, Lillian Garcia, Molina Perez, Eddie Edwards, I couldn't believe it, Diamond Dallas Page, Conan, Jamie Sinigo, who was family to Daphne, Fallah Bah, Leva Bates, I couldn't believe when I saw him there too, Moose. Knowing Moose pertains to maybe to his football background, if he had issues, mental health issues, because pertains to maybe having CTE, whatever. I don't know if he is or not, but it won't surprise me if he is, and which is why he wants to be part of this whole campaign of Tag Me In. Candice Michelle. And yes, we know of her history of concussions too, by the way. Back in 2007, I should say. W. Morrissey, We already know about his issues. Even he even had suicide thoughts at one point. Kurt Angle, Tori Wilson, Alicia Edwards, the wife, obviously the wife of Eddie Edwards, Velvet Sky, Mickey James, Hikaru Shida, Lady Shannon. Lady Shani. What to say? Shani. She's from Triple A, by the way. Dr. Britt Baker. DMD. Wow. Nyla Rose. Charmel, the wife of Booker T. Rob Van Dam. Christy Hemme. Chelsea Green. Maria Kanellis Bennett and Mike Bennett. And they have Renee Raquel. See, I keep saying Raquel. Renee Petit. The former Renee Young from who used to be in WWE, the wife of Jon Moxley. And there were other people too that I did not know who they were, so I apologize for not mentioning their names. But yeah, also the rest, a few of those names that I don't know who they are, and I don't remember their names, and but a few of them were from NWA. A few of them, again, I don't know who they are, and maybe they're part of some other promotions. But basically, it's the whole Tag Me In campaign, and all these wrestlers, not all the wrestlers, obviously. Some of them are retired. Some of them are just personnel wrestlers, personnel in pro wrestling, I have to say. But they're all. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. I don't remember if I mentioned Deanna Purrazzo and Taylor Wilde. I forgot to mention those two. I apologize. But yeah, I couldn't believe these lists of names. Basically they popped up and they're talking. Doing a camera angle like this, or maybe or sometimes like doing it like this. Like a selfie. That's But yeah, tag me in. Tag me in. If that's what, if that's just for pro wrestling, if it's for if it's just more than just for pro wrestling, if it's for if it's for everyone, then yes, tag me in too. We all need the hope we can get, because I also battled through depression and had suicide thoughts too. But you already knew that. So if you want to get tagged in, look up. Again, I showed that I showed earlier on the picture that I suggest all you to tag in into that too. And now we get to the main event for the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship title. 10 minutes and 53 seconds. 10 minutes and 43 seconds, excuse me. Decay of Havoc and Rosemary with Black Taurus and Crazy Steve defeated the Influence of Madison Rayne and Tina Dashwood with Caleb there. The beginning of the match was Madison Rayne and Tina Dashwood taking pictures that Caleb was taking of them. And then Madison Rayne did not want to get in the ring, against Havoc or whoever was legal in the match, whatever. She was stopped by Black Taurus and Crazy Steve. Basically, they didn't take this seriously from the beginning, and I like, why should I take this seriously, and why was this even the main event? But we'll get to why that was main event too, but it's featuring the Knockouts Tag Team titles. But the match that it did get better later on, but I didn't care. To me, it was I just don't care for the Influence. They don't mean shit to me in pro wrestling in the Impact Wrestling right now. I meant to say, is Master Reign good? Yes. Is Tina Dashwood good? Yes. But this gimmick sucks. This team sucks. This whole thing that they're doing in Impact Wrestling sucks. I'd rather see Master Reign come back to doing the whole locker room leader bullshit than to see this whole Influence bullshit. So yes, the K won as they should, as I predicted too. And that was it. before the show ended, they promote who's going to show up at Bound for Glory. We're taking the knockouts. We're gonna have new knockouts in Impact Wrestling, and they're showcasing the inspirations, or I think it's just called the inspiration. And the inspiration is Cassie Lee and Jessie K. I think that's her name, right? Basically, the former Peyton Royce and Billy Kay, the Iconics. And I couldn't be more happier to see them at Impact Wrestling. So they come into Impact Wrestling at Bound for Glory. They make the debuts there. I don't know what they're gonna do, but they're showing up, and I'm happy for them. I cannot wait to see them. Their visas are taken care of, by the way. So that's why they haven't been anywhere else, because they had visa issues. So now they come into Impact Wrestling, be part of the knockouts. I just hope they're not part of the influence. Let them be their own teams. Let them have them their own stable. It's good enough of a taste of the inspiration. And I rather get behind the inspiration than get behind the influence. And that's what I'm going to say from there. And that'll conclude your Impact Knockouts Knockdown 2021 review, folks. Where it is, results, I should say, where it takes to Impact Wrestling review. Before I sign off, let me get to my Impact Knockouts Knockdown highlights of the night. And I add some new things in there too, so pay attention to it. Here we go. Swerve of the night, where it takes to Impact Wrestling closing up the show. Where it takes to going off the air after after the K retain the tag titles. A swerve there of basically showing a video package of who's going to come to Impact Bound for Glory, the inspiration. Awesome. And but it basically also swerve because after the show's going to end from there, which is to Decay retain the tag titles. So, and with the inspiration, being the the final image, seeing in the show of Knockouts Knockdown. To me, it was a swerve there, and on top of that, it just gives more heads up of what the Knockouts Tag Team titles is going to be all about. So having them, it's going to be a great addition of the Knockouts Tag Team division for Impact Wrestling. Minus Billy Kay's wrestling. Maybe Impact Wrestling can help her improve her wrestling. But I digress. Shock of the night. Awesome Kong, the next inductee into the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame, retains the review package that they did. Basically, retains the shown review package, because when Christy Hemme came out there and announced the next inductee to the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame, she didn't drop any names, no name dropping. She just showed the review package and let us be shocked of who it was going to be, and it was Awesome Kong, and I thought it was awesome. No point in it. Moment of the night, Awesome Kong, coming out, which is great. Embracing with the fans. Chant of the night, Let's Go Tasha retains the match against Seagull. Wait, Shinigo, I meant to say. Jamie Shinigo, I should say. Either it was in the match against Jamie Shinigo, or it was against Chelsea Green. Either way, I was shocked when I heard Let's Go Tasha's Tasha chants. So this goes. I'm gonna give this one to Tasha Steele, because Tasha Steele she's gonna be a main player for the Knockouts division, the singles Knockout division. Pop in the night, Awesome Kong, because she came out. It tends to her being there. Boo of the night, Tasha Steele's in the match against Chelsea Green, because she kept avoiding her, playing cat and mouse with her. Promo of the night, Tasha Steele's. At first, I was giving it to Machetes Martinez, but then Tasha Steele delivered that promo pitch perfect. Not saying that Machetes Martinez didn't deliver it pitch perfect, but Tasha Steele is basically ready to show how to cut a promo. Video promo is the Monsters Ball, where it tends to featuring Taylor Wilde in memory of Daphne. Segment of the night was the opening segment paying tribute to Daphne. Interest of the night, Decay. Performance of the night, Machetes Martinez. Movement of the night, uh, Rachel Ellering's electric chair buckle. You know how you do the power bomb, the buckle bomb. Well, I saw the buckle electric chair presented by Rachel Ellery to Lady Frost, and I thought that was pretty good. And that was the opener of the match. And I had that as my move of the night. I added something new here. Which I also I think I already had. Oh yeah, this is new here. And that's counter of the night. Counter of the night was basically Rachel Ellery countering Lady Frost's snowball fight, which is it's basically the cannonball, the running cannonball in the turnbuckle. And she calls it the snowball. She calls it the snowball fight because Lady Frost, snowball, it goes together. Winter. And by the way, with this Lady Frost, I'm assuming her gimmick, with this everything she did too though, the way she looks too, it's probably it's probably inspired by Disney's Frozen. Let it go, can't hold it back anymore. Just saying. Anyways, finish of the night, Machetes Martinez OG drop, which is to win the tournament. So, either way, I was gonna give finish of the night to the winner of that tournament, and that was good. And that was gonna be whoever hit that finisher, to win the trophy and become the contender for the future opportunity for Knockouts title. Brew match of the night, obviously Monsters Ball, dedicated to Daphne. Fight Forever, or in the way of This Is Awesome chant. But at the same time, you also have some Fight Forever chants too. Pertains to Rachel Ellery versus Machetes Martinez. Again, the best match on the show was that match. And with that being said, show still tonight, same thing with that match. Rachel versus Machetes. And finally, match of the night was Deonna Purrazzo in the Pick You Up Poison match, where it's Mickie James picking Deonna Purrazzo's Poison, which it was Masha Simovic. And that was it for your... Yeah, that's basically it for your knockouts, knockdown, highlights of the night. As far as the show was, I thought it was a great show. You had a great tournament. You had some great matches. You had some matches that I thought it was solid. Yeah, and when I say a solid match, I mean the main event. Just saying. As far as the squash match, that wasn't really great. But it was great that Machetes Martinez got the window. And great announcements making here, and a great new campaign that's been plugged there. Just it delivered. I'm gonna give this show a 9 out of 10. And with that being said, thank you all for watching. For It's the Natural Scary Thriller, saying peace on the streets. All you to be well, stay safe, take care of yourself and everything that's going on in the world. Especially pertains to your mental health. Also pertains to everything that's going on in the world. Pertains to any type of virus. Wear your mask, wear your gloves, hand sanitize your hands too. Get vaccinated. Be respectful, be better, be appreciative, and love one another. God bless one another. Live in peace and harmony for us all. For I am out here. Talk tough for now. And also, what pertains to Daphne, the memory of Daphne, because this pay-per-view, Knockouts Knockdown 2021, was dedicated to the late great Daphne, who unfortunately took her own life a month ago. And what pertains to Daphne, what she has done for the wrestling business and for the knockouts, to her final days. All I can say is to Daphne, once again, thank you, Daphne, and we love you, Daphne. Take care, folks.
If I traded it all, if I gave it all away for one thing, just for one thing, if I sorted it out, if I knew all about this one thing, Wouldn't that be something?